Alright, hey, what's up? It's Dr. Plague, and I'm going to show you guys how to make weapon retextures or reskin of weapons for Insurgency. We're going to use, for it's mostly based around Photoshop. We're not going to use GIMP. For Photoshop, you're going to either have Photoshop CC or Photoshop 6 Extended. So let's get started. The first things you're going to have to do is download Crafty, VTF Edit, GCF Escape. You're gonna have to download Crowbar. You're gonna download Blender, and you're gonna have to download this thing for Blender. It's called the Blender Source Tools. You're gonna download this, and make sure you have that. Do not unzip it, and make sure you have that somewhere. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna actually set up our workspace. Just like how I have it here. So to find it, we're actually gonna go open up Steam. Gonna go to Insurgency Properties, Local Files. We're gonna go to Browse Local Files, and we're gonna go to Insurgency, and we're gonna go to Custom. If you don't have a custom folder here, you're gonna make one, and we're gonna close this, close this. We're gonna drag over our custom by holding Alt and left click, and we're going to create a link on your desktop. Or if you're going to work in a folder, make sure you put this in a folder. So yes, we want to delete this. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to Insurgency 2 bin. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to drag this over into VPK. Same thing, make a shortcut here on your desktop, and once you have that done, we're also going to go to Insurgency. They're going to look for, so we're going to go copy this game folder, .info.txt. We're going to go to our bin, and we're going to paste this in here, copy and replace in your bin. So now once you're done with that, we can actually get started. So we're going to create a new folder. We're going to call this mini 14 for now. Take the mini, and to find this, we're going to actually open up our Insurgency custom shortcut. We're going to go to Insurgency, then we're going to go to models directory, dir. Make sure it's dir, not like this one, how it is like 001. See, when you open these, nothing happens. So you have to make sure you open it in directory. So we're going to go to edit, find weapons, and we're going to look for our mini. Where is our mini? There it is. So we have our mini folder. Close that. Our mini, we're going to create a new folder. We're going to call this view model files. So we're going to drag this over into here, and we're going to do the same for world model files. So our world model files and our view model files are actually two different models. The world model files are much smaller. That's because world model files are, for example, if I threw my weapon on the ground, or I found someone's weapon on the ground, that's the actual texture files I'll actually see. Same goes for the view model textures. So think of it as if I'm spectating someone in first person, or I'm playing in first person, what I will see is the actual view model files for the textures. So you need both of them in order for it to work. So this would be world model files. Which is funny because in Counter-Strike you don't have world model files. I think the world model files in Counter-Strike are the same as the view model files. I'm not too sure, but when I was digging around in Counter-Strike, they didn't have any world model files. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but who knows. So now when we're done with this, we're going to close this. And our view model files. There's two ways to convert the source.mdl files. Is by using Crafty, and the second one is by using Crowbar and then using Blender. So To do this, you're going to take the .mdl file, and I'm going to show you Crafty. I don't recommend using Crafty, but it's a method that some people may want to use in case Blender or something doesn't work properly. So you drag this over to Crafty. Our render, our world would be textured, model would be texture, sky, fog, models, lighting, dynamic lighting. Setup, your profile would be source 3D party, Insurgency. You're gonna go to file, export, and we're gonna copy this address and we're gonna paste it in here. And we're gonna call this crafty mini 14. So we're gonna click save, and it's in there. That's one method of doing it, but to show you what it will look like in Photoshop, you'll double click on OBJ. So once this opens, you want to work in 1000 by 1000 pixels, 300 resolution, and we're going to click OK. There's one thing you have to do when opening this is you're going to go change this. It's going to be from Essentials, and you're going to change this to 3D. So I'm just showing you that how Crafty imports the model. Notice that how the weapon is called, it gives it a generic weapon reference mess, and it becomes Photoshop 3D default, and then the object is not even positioned correctly. So now if you're doing the crafting method, you'll hold, make sure you're selected on the rotate around y-axis, left click, drag, then hold control while dragging until you hit 90 degrees. And then you're gonna do the same for the top, grab the top pan and then hold control click 90 degrees. Crowbar and Blender. So to fix this, we'll actually take the model MDL and we're gonna open up Crowbar. Take the view model file, open with Crowbar. Make sure QC file, extra info as comments, that's optional. Make sure this is checked off. Reference mesh SMD file, our decompiler, and our compiler would be, so you're going to set up games. Remember the game info.text.bin, you're going to look for your game info.text, and you're going to look for your studio MDL file. So it's right under common insurgency 2 bin student MDL, and the same thing goes for the game text info. Once you're finished that, you'll save and close, and you're going to use subfolder for MDL file. You could change this if you want, but I just use the default. You can also do bone animations, but this is if you actually want to extract from bones and do like modeling and actually manipulate bones so you can get posture and whatever. But we're going to click decompile folder and all subfolders into MDL files. Once that's finished, we're going to click close. Close out of this. We're going to go to our decompiled .24, and here's our reference folder. We're going to copy this and we're going to open up Blender. So when this pops up, we're going to click escape. We're going to hit delete on the keyboard. You're going to go to file, import. Oh wait, I have to show you guys this. File, user preferences, set user settings, save user settings, and now you're going to click install from file. And remember that file I told you to download from the Blender source .valve. You're going to try to find this file. Remember, do not unzip it. Once you find that file, you would install the file, then you would refresh. Once you refresh it, you'll find that it has this thing called import export Blender source tools. You're going to click, make sure this is checked off. You're going to save user settings and close this. Now we're going to file, import source engine from smd.vtx, dxt, and qc files. So we're going to go here, click on this, command or control V, enter. Then we're going to go to smd, import, and it might take a little while, but once it brings it up, we can we'll have our bone and our model file. So we're going to go to file, export. We want to save this into the wavefront.obj. Why we're saving it into a .obj is because Photoshop can actually open the actual file. So we're gonna save this out here into the root work folder, and we're gonna call this Blender Blender Mini 14, and we're gonna say export obj. Give it a second. Once it's done, you're gonna click close. You want to say OK, and we're gonna go back to our root folder, and here it is. Here's our, it's like this list. Oops, details. There we go. And here's our actual folder. Keep in mind, do not delete the .mto file. This is needed. And now we can actually open the Blender version. Same process, 1000 pixels, 300 resolution. And now we're just gonna click on the round y-axis, click and drag and control. So now you're pretty much set. Uncheck cat shadows and uncheck cast shadows. It uses more resources. But notice how it says it doesn't give a generic name. It says object mesh, and it gives the actual texture file name, which is weapon.mini._14_dm. So they randomly picks a color for you. We can fix this. We're gonna change our diffuse map. Wait, did we extract our view model files? No, we did not. So we have to look for our texture. So we'll minimize this. And our Insurgency custom folder, we're going to go back to Insurgency. We're going to look for our material directory. We're going to go edit, find weapons with an S. Click on weapons. We're going to go to Mini 14. And we're going to take all of this. Well, we're going to take the first 3, since this is our view file. And I'm going to close this. We're going to open up this. And we're going to just drop this in here. So now we're going to open this with VTF edit. The DM means diffuse map. We're going to file, export, and we're going to go paste. But we're going to go to our actual root of our folder, and it's going to convert this to a target. Once that's finished, we're going to have our target image right here. So this is just for the view model files. You're going to have to do the same thing for the world model files, and you're going to have to convert the MDL files the same way as we did before. We have to convert the MDL to an object file. So we're going to take this, drag this over here. We're going to open this one. Notice how the file dimensions are different because it uses different texture. So I'm going to export, we're going to put this in our world model files not to get confused. Actually no, well no. Save, there we go. Close this, and we can close out of this. Okay, so when you open up Photoshop and you've already, now we can actually turn and position. And now we're going to hit default view, click OK. So now that you're working in 3D view, open Essentials. Oh, let me explain this. This is perspective view, and this is orthographic view. So orthographic view is used for, like, if you want to make a custom graphical interface, you would work in this or render this out. You want to do also work in perspective though. Notice how the edges are curved, and in orthographic it's more flat. So once we're finished with this, we're going to go to our 3D tab. We're going to go to our weapon mini 14._dm. That's our diffuse map. We're going to say replace texture. You're going to click on that little button, replace texture, and we're going to find it right here. Click open. Boom. But it's really shiny, so we're gonna have to do the same thing under specular. Click on this little folder and click weapon mini 14. Now we have to drop the shine a bit. drop the shine to like 45, and our bump will raise it a little bit, and our refraction, we'll just leave the refraction. Okay, so now we're done with this. So now we're gonna have to set up our lights. So you're gonna create a preset, so try to create something that looks like mine's. Yeah, I know it looks crazy, but this first one is a left top angle. We're gonna have like a soft, kind of like soft blue. The second thing is you want to have these can pan around, but you want these to actually pan on top so you can light your area of your model. This one is like that. This one's like this. This one's like this. This one's like this. This one's like that. Just play around the lights. Try not to overexpose your model. Try to have it nice and lit. For the lights, you can also save them. You can also click, once you're finished having your lights set up, you're gonna go to save, give it a name, and so once you're finished with that, now we can actually work on our actual texture file. So we're gonna go to 3D, weapon menu 14. We're gonna go back to our diffuse map, and we're gonna go right click, and we're gonna say edit texture. We're gonna click yes or okay, and this is what our texture is gonna look like. We have a UV overlays. This is what we want. This is most important. What makes Photoshop overpowered compared to like GIMP, because GIMP doesn't give you OV maps. You'll actually literally have to find them, I think, but you can actually map these out and actually like take your cursor and find these. But in order to do that, we can drop or raise our opacity of our overlay or UV map, and we can actually change the color of this. I normally keep mine in like a lime green, and we're gonna select our mini object. We're gonna go to Window, Works, Arrange, 2 vertical up. So 2 vertical up is like this. Now here's where it comes. Here comes the magic. We're gonna unlock this, and we're gonna create a new layer. And we're gonna zoom out a bit and notice, oh, whoops. I want to click maximize compatibility, there we go. And notice how when I use my brush or hit B on the keyboard, I can actually find where what like specific parts of the gun. Like this is probably, yeah, this is the iron sight. This is another part of the iron sight. This is the magazine. So you can actually map out these and tell where they are. So let's just say we want to edit. It could also work vice versa if you want to edit this way too. You want to find a specific part of a gun. So you hit V on your keyboard and you want to drag this around. And let's just say we want to look for this top part, and we can see this top part here. You can also find the back of the gun, which is this. If you want to find the actual sides and you want to find the rails, you can find the rails. So this what makes Photoshop, I don't want to say superior, but I mean, this is what you get what you pay for. So let's just do a simple crappy design just for the sake of the tutorial. We're just gonna like write some random shit all over the place, and let's do the side too. Yeah, Photoshop's lagging pretty hard because I'm using Camtasia, so Camtasia will eat away a lot of resources. So we're gonna hit V, we're gonna go back here, we're gonna go back to our 3D tab, and we're gonna hit default. So notice how it looks like shit, but for the sake of the tutorial, this is how we would, once you're finished with your design, you're gonna go back to layers. You can turn off layers, but how do we save it? We're probably working on something for like a couple days, like how I do. I'll probably work on something for like 3 or 4 days if it's something new. And To save this, you would want to go to make sure you change your view back to default, and go to File. We're gonna go to Save As. Oh wait, yeah, File, Save As, and you want to say mini.14 Blender mini.14.psd. I'm gonna click OK. We're gonna maximize the compatibility. Once we have this done, we're gonna have to create a normal map. A normal map is something that I guess it uses it creates more dimensions within your design. So to create a normal map, we're gonna go to weapon dot underscore mini underscore 14 underscore dm. So when creating a normal map, you can generate one from Photoshop. I advise you that you do this last once you're finished with your design here. But to save your design, you should also save your design. So you're gonna go to File, Save As, and we're gonna go Paste. Go back to Mini 14, and we're gonna change this PSB to PSD. So we're gonna save it. Once it saves, notice that the UV overlay is gone, so we can actually fix this. We're gonna close that. We're gonna go back to diffuse, replace texture, and because we have to remap the texture, and you're gonna work from our mini PSD. This is like in case you want to save and you want to turn off your computer or something and work on it another day. So you want to go edit texture, and the same thing, you want to go like this. I want to go view, window, arrange to vertical, and there you go. You have it back again. But keep in mind, it will create these, they'll create temporary ones in your temp folder. So make sure that when you save, you make sure you save your actual object file, your PSD, and then save a backup of this. So because trust me, if you're doing hours of work and then something happens and then you have to redo all your designs and you lose an hour, so try to keep I'm stressing it a lot, I know, but try to keep a copy of your diffuse map and try to make a copy, just constantly save. That's all I could probably tell you. Once we have this, we're gonna go to this, make sure we're selected on our Blender mini object, and we're gonna go to normal. We're gonna say generate normals from this view. So make sure when we're doing this, make sure everything's done. It's gonna take a little while, but once that's finished, we have this. I don't know if you can notice it, but it actually looks different. So since we have saved this, we're gonna file, we're gonna say save as, we're gonna say paste this into our mini, and we're gonna save this as a target. We're gonna replace our target because we don't need it anymore. This is when you're finished with your final product. So you're gonna click save. Do you want to replace it? Yes. Make sure it's on 24-bit, not 32-bit. Because if it's on 32-bit, it's gonna copy this alpha channel. It's gonna be really white and blown out. So you don't want that. Once you're finished with this, you can go back, click on this one, the Blender Mini, and we're gonna go to Object Weapon Mini 14, and we're gonna go to our normals, and we're gonna say Edit Texture. So here's our texture. See how it creates this more depth with our design, or our shitty design. But anyway, we're gonna go to File. We're gonna say Save As. We're gonna go back here, Paste. We're gonna go back to Mini 14, and we're gonna save this as a .radians file, as a .hdr file. This is important. So save this, and now we're finished. we can actually close this, say no or yes. Close this, we don't need that, but here's our actual model. So to actually present this, or say you want to like render it, you can actually hit this render button right here. It will render it. It will take some time. Make sure not to move it, or like actually like move it like that when it's rendering, or it might cancel it. Or make sure you don't hit escape either. It's gonna take a really long time, not too long, probably like 5 to 10 minutes of rendering. But since I'm using Camtasia Studio, it's probably gonna take me forever, so I'm not gonna render it out. But once you render it out, your model, we're finished. So make sure you save constantly. I'm gonna click close, and now we have our 2 files. We have our radiance file and our target file. So let's go back into GCF escape, and we're gonna look for our models. Go whoops, file, edit, find weapons, and we're gonna look for the Mini 14. So this is what we have. So I'm gonna close this. We're gonna make a new folder. So say if you have a new folder, and we're gonna call this, I don't know, Mini Heavy Black with Blue. This will be your name of your actual root folder. So you're gonna open that, and now we're gonna create a new folder called Materials. Make sure your spelling is right. Materials. Materials. Now we're gonna create a new folder that's called Models. So new folder, MODEL. Models with an S. Then open this up again. We're gonna file, click new. This is gonna be weapons, WEAPONS with an S. Now we're gonna click file, new again, folder, and it's gonna be Mini 14. Click OK. So now we're done. Now we can actually close this. That's our reference. So now we have to convert these target files into an actual file. So we're gonna drag and drop that into VTF edit. Make sure normal map's not checked off. Nearest power of 2, triangle, none, clamp, doesn't make sure clamp's on, DTX1 and DTX5. It doesn't matter if it's animated, textured, or what. You can generate mini maps. It would make it soften and sharpen even more, but advanced, make sure it says malicious compute reflectivity and generate thumbnail. I guess these doesn't matter. Quality though for DTX compression must be high. General. Okay, click OK. It's gonna load. It's gonna take a bit, but once it's opened, we can see our shit's in here. And we're gonna go back to our, not this folder, our Mini 14. We're gonna click rename. We're gonna copy this, and we're gonna escape. Now we're gonna file, save as. We're gonna go to our desktop, Mini Heavy Black or Blue. We're gonna go open this. Go to our new folder that we created, and we're gonna click Control V. And we're gonna save. Now we have to do the same thing for our radiance file. Here's our radiance file. Gonna minimize this. Open with VTF edit. Make sure generate normal map is not here. You can also create your own normal maps through VTF Edit. I'll show you after this, but this is probably going to take a little while because these files are larger because they're 32-bit. Alright, so here's our file. So we're going to right click. You're going to right click, rename. This is not going to be _DM, this is going to be NM. So we're going to file, save as, paste, delete this D and put an N because we're representing this as normal map. Click save and click close. So now since we're done with this, you can actually close all of this. But alright, I have to show you how to do the actual conversion. So you'll take your, so say you want to create a normal map in VTF Edit, you'll drag your mini 14DM into VTF Edit and then turn this on, generate minimap 3x3 color space, set to white, and click OK. It's gonna take a while too, but once that's done, it's gonna have something like this. So now you're gonna go file and just save it as an a mini 14_NM, but since you already have that one, you can actually close this, go to this, materials, models, weapons, and just open these just to make sure they are the actual correct files that actually look correct. So now we're going to take our folder that we just created our mod in, and we're just going to drag this over to open with VPK, and it's going to create this thing, mini heavy black or blue, and then we're going to just drag this and drop it into the custom Insurgency custom folder. So now we can actually try this in game. So I'm going to stop Fraps for now, and let's see how it looks. Alright, so let's see how it looks in game. Alright, so we're back on the desktop, so we actually know that the mini heavy black and blue, our tutorial file actually works. So now we have to do the actual world model files, the same thing that we did with the view files. We're going to have to do the same thing with the world model files. So we're going to take the MDL and we're going to bring it into, where is it? It's crowbar. Open with crowbar, decompile all folders, close. Here's our reference SMD. Open a Blender, escape, delete, K, file, import, and let's just print this. Control V, SMD, import, and notice that this one is much smaller and it doesn't contain any bones. So we're gonna go File, Export, Wavefront. We're gonna go up, and we're gonna say Blender BLE. Mini. Alright, export. And we're gonna click close. Yes. Go back. And we're gonna open this with Photoshop. In the meantime, let's open our diffuse map and convert this. So file, export. Oh wait, I think we already did this. Hold on. There we go. Custom 1000 by 1300. Same thing like what we did before. Uncheck these. Make sure it's 3D. Alright, so where are we again? Let's just change this. Replace texture. I'm gonna do W for world file. I'm gonna drop the down a bit. I'm gonna change our specular to weapon. And here we go. But what's funny is that now we have to re-edit everything because this is our world file. So we're gonna go to fuse, edit texture, and you're going to go back. Gonna go window, range to vertical up. And I don't know if this is an easier way to do this, but normally I'll just redo everything I did in my world file. Or view file into a world file. So you just make some shit again, just to show you that it's completely different, but it doesn't look the same. So you have to make sure when you're actually editing your world file, at least try to make it look as close as possible. So now we're going to extract this. We're going to go lock our layers. We're going to go file, this one, file, save as, target, paste. Now we're going to do this one, replace it, 24. And that's, click no, close this, no. Okay, so now we have to open this up. Now we have to open this. Where's our mini world file target? Drop this into VTF edit. Do not generate normals. Okay, now we're gonna go file. Where is it? Rename, copy, escape, file, save as, Control V, and there we go. Now I have to recompile this. I mean, not a lot of people do world files. I see a good amount of people do, some people don't. So now we're gonna have to drag this over into our VPK. And here we go. Just drop this in our Insurgency custom, replace. Alright, so we're back in game. Join, close. We're going to go click apply. Alright, so that's that. See, it doesn't look the same, but that's how you edit the world files too.